anyone who may be watching or who may be watching later or not be watching at all. Let me see if I can't just adjust here and get it functional so it's not too bright but not too dim. I don't even know what the right lighting would be for a video. The truth is, as a random YouTuber who posts videos about just about every topic, I really haven't done a lot of live videos. And I thought in the past, I've made several videos live after drinking, or, I should say I plan a live video and then I have a few drinks in order to better convey my thoughts, but end up often drinking too much. In this case tonight, that's not the case. I do have a beer here, but I haven't had one in a while, and I've actually was considering canceling this live cast and just hanging out and watching a movie and going to bed. And I thought, no, it'll be more fun to take the time and make the effort to talk to a bunch of strangers on the internet because why? I don't know. I've often asked myself this. Is it because I want to talk to people and get attention from the internet and say, look at me, look at me? Or is it because I just enjoy sharing information and knowledge with other people? I have dug deep into my own psyche and the reason why I do this and come to the conclusion that it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. I think I've been making videos long enough to say that it's just part of who I am. And there's something interesting about a live cast that has always, I don't know, it always feels like it's more obligatory because you can't just, you know, change your mind halfway through and just never upload the video because it's already being uploaded. And so there is a certain obligation to have a topic. And tonight's topic, of course, as it says in the description, is about the bullshit world of alpha males. And growing up as a Gen Xer through the 80s and 90s, we kind of hit this middle point between the old ways of thinking that a tough guy is a real man and moving through that and realizing that no, that's bullshit. That a man can be sensitive, a man can have emotions, a man can have feelings. But all of that has been negated by this modern, like, facade of what it means to be a man. And this is not just one viewpoint, this is complete opposite viewpoints. In other words, there are a whole bunch of men out there who think that women are just there for their service. The kind of patriarchy men, right? The men who will do TED Talks, things like that, about what women want. And they'll teach you how to get the catch and how to be the best man you can be. And they're all full of complete shit. All of them. Every single one of these guys. All of the red pillars, the people who believe that women are out to get them. Basically, it comes down to this. Anyone who tries to generalize a group of people is pretty fucking ignorant. And anyone who tries to generalize half of the population of the earth as men and women, as if all women are this way and all men should be this way, these are some of the guys who have had their feathers ruffled because a woman didn't do what they wanted, or a woman wasn't the kind of woman they wanted, not realizing that most of the time when you hear these guys speak, the truth is, what woman would want a guy like that? There's this arrogance about certain dudes that makes them think that they are God's gift to women. So I've been trying to kind of analyze this. There's a level of arrogance in men thinking that they are, superior to women or superior to other men. There has to be a certain level of arrogance. And let me just put it this way. I make this brutally clear right now at the beginning of this live cast. I have a degree of arrogance that I have learned to turn into humility and understanding. When I was younger, like most young men, I had kind of a, I'm not going to say it. What's the word I'm looking for? Not a stick up my, not a stick up my ass. It was a something up my ass. I don't remember. Maybe that's not the right term at all for it. The point being that I had a I've always had a passion for life and a passion for understanding and meeting people, talking to people. But when I think about it from the outside, I'm not very good at it. Like, in other words, if somebody says, "Hey, do you want to go out and hang out with this group of people?" I'm like, "Not really. I don't really know any of them. I feel awkward." You put me in an area with people for 5 minutes. I don't care who they are. They could be full blown fucking, Trump supporters, or they could be full blown liberals. They could be full blown black, white, Mexican. It doesn't fucking matter, men or women. I can get along with any group of people. And I've realized that some guys, many men and women, cannot do this. They cannot function in certain groups of people. Therefore, they build a distance between them and these groups, as if, well, these people just don't get me. Let's just say a man is trying to impress a group of women and they all laugh at him and walk off and giggle. That can set a man up to be completely opposed to women. Something that simple. Really an innocent thing. Maybe the guy was being a douchebag. But the idea that men have been turned down or feel like they've been wronged by women, I've always found that a little bit humorous. Like, you think they use something. It takes both parties. Don't pull that women belong in the kitchen bullshit. And, because it's really a way of men saying, well, I can't compete with the intelligence of women and their own choices. Therefore, I'm going to, pretend like I'm the alpha male and they should listen to what I say. And so I just wanted to get that part out of the way. I've watched a lot of these, several different YouTubers like Charlie, Moist Critical. He did he's done several of these talking about these, quote, alpha male groups. It's really become predominant on TikTok. And if you want to know why I'm talking about it, it's because there are many young, impressionable men. I have a 12-year-old son, right? I have a 27-year-old son. Either one of these kids could watch one of these things and think, wow, that's what it means to be a man. Fortunately, they have a father who tells them that ain't being a man, but who am I to say, right? I don't want my kids to think that, they can't be the tough guy if that's what works for them. But you know what I'm getting at. Not all children have direction. Somebody that they can say, hey, is this what it really means to be a guy? And then they have these red pillars out there who just, suck up these young men's minds into thinking that all women are corrupt because I got divorced and I had a hard time with women and I couldn't date right, so therefore I've got to be a big tough guy. Being the tough guy doesn't work. It doesn't last. It might work short term, but eventually you have to be a human being and talk with people on a normal level. And therefore, this bullshit about being an alpha male, it doesn't exist. In fact, most of the studies claiming that there are alpha males have been completely disproven. Many of the original studies that were cited to say there are such a thing as alpha males really were based on primate studies and wolf pack studies. But if you really do those studies in the modern day, you'll find out something. There's a secret out there. Not everybody will tell you the women are always in charge. It's just the way it is. The women are the ones in the baboon packs and the primate packs who, tell the men who to stand up for. The men may be the ones that fight over the women, but the women ultimately choose the men. The female chooses the male because that's evolution. Females know who they want to have offspring with. It's a very complicated thing, and we have made it even more complicated by being humans about it, by thinking that we know what women want or what men want, and this idea of the Chad, it's always cracked me up. I mean, sure, I'm 6'3", right, and I have pretty decent jaw if I cut my beard down and I cut my hair and I tried to play the tough guy and I started lifting weights. What does that do for me? That doesn't change what's up here. What's up here is what matters to me. I'd much rather be identified by my freak flag and let people know that I don't give a shit, but that's just me. So before I continue, as I've already been rambling for almost 10 minutes, I should address the audience, the people who are watching this. So I'm going to do that and to do that, I'm going to put on these heavy duty glasses that are, oh my God, those are way too, wow. I can't find my other ones. So, hello to Logic. Hello to Hot Retarded Chicks. Been a fan for a long time. Hot Retarded Chicks knows that my channel is the best. And has all hot retarded chicks love my channel, dude. It's just true. Hello to Adam and Alpha Chad. That before I even got to the Chad, you must have posted that. Logic, Trippa Sigma male. That's funny you said Sigma because I just heard that term today. I mean, I'd heard it before, but it just came up in a video before this because I was kind of laughing at somebody who was dissing on alpha males, and he was showing these guys that were talking about being a man. And I think the guy's name is, what is it, Jarvis Johnson? He's a younger guy. And I was torn because I was right in between, agreeing with both of these guys. Like, okay, I agree with Jarvis that the people he's talking about are ridiculous and they blow out of proportion what it means to be a man. But I also can kind of say, dude, but you're not really a very manly man yourself. Maybe some of the things they are saying are true. One of these things, and I want to get this out of the way, that women like bad boys, okay? I know there are a lot of people who say that that's bullshit, but it's not. It's really not. Women like a guy who's willing to take risks. It may not be conscious, and not all women. But the thing is, guys who are willing to take risks are guys who are willing to protect their family. It is a psychological and subconscious thing that I don't really think that people process properly. It's not about being an asshole. That's not what being a bad boy means. It just means that if you get fucked over in a grocery store or you get ripped off from someone, you don't just walk away like a pussy. If you get your car stolen and you find out who took it, you don't just go, oh, okay, well, can I have it back? You fucking go out and you take your shit back. You go out and you fucking make yourself as a man. Because I may be a relatively scrawny guy, but I will fuck people up if they take my shit. I have no hesitation if I had to defend my family. I've got a lead pipe above my door. If I catch somebody in my car, I'll break their fucking arm. I don't have rage in me. I don't have anger, but I have an untapped reserve to where if somebody puts my family in danger, I'll completely fuck them up without hesitation. And I think most dads would, but that's, I guess, a story for another time. Try me, right? So who else is in here? Hello, Scott, a boomer from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, PA, I'm assuming. Oh, a boomer? No, a boomer. You're a boomer, or I'm a boomer. I'm not a boomer yet. Independent 727 says, "What's up? How you like living in Portland in 2022?" Honestly, I'll be straight up with you. Every time I talk shit about Portland and say I want to get out of here, a lot of people say, yeah, that place is fucked. That place is shit. That place is going downhill. I know a lot of the people that say that don't live here. And I know that it's easy. It's just like me looking at Detroit as just a burned out wasteland or New York as a cesspool of piss. I know there are parts of Detroit and of New York that aren't like that. I know that it depends on where you live. And if you spend a lot of time in a neighborhood and you don't really wander out into the cities. Where I live is actually across the bridge from Portland. I live in Vancouver, Washington. It's a smaller city, but it's across the Columbia River, the biggest river in the West. So we are separated a little bit from the Portland area. And honestly, I was always told that Vancouver was a shithole, a total cesspool growing up when I lived in Portland area. And that it was just full of crime and horrible up here. I moved here and ended up loving the neighborhood. I didn't have any issues until recently. And then Portland got bad. In fact, we moved here and bought our house because it was kind of circumstantial. We were lucky. We were able to buy a house on a stated income. A big confusing mess. Got kicked out of the house we were renting. Had to live in a motel with our kids and our pets for a while. It was just, it just sucked. And so we bought this place. And ended up, because the guy who sold it was afraid it was going to go commercial. Make this short. Ended up staying residential. I live on First Street, so it's just right off of Mill Plain in the main area. It's a nice little area, but it's changed. It's changed significantly, and Portland has too. Portland now is much worse than Vancouver, and when I moved here, I realized that Portland was even then worse than Vancouver. That the schools here are better. and that it really comes down to the perspective of where you live. Really, all we want to do is protect our families and to raise them in a place that matters. And as I've said, this is why I want to move out to Kentucky or somewhere. Not because having nothing to do with the state itself or the people. I want to buy land, live on my own, do my own thing, teach my own kids, do my own business, and interact minimally with the rest of the people because I like my privacy. And Kentucky has the cheapest land. So, it's a big step, but it's, worth a shot, I think. So before I continue, I'm going to flip through the rest of the comments. Why does that have to happen? People always send messages like right when I'm doing shit. All right, Hot Retarded Chick says, Carpo is alpha woman. Yeah, baby. Authenticity. Scott Shet says, aluminum ball bat. 16th in the door for the stream. Who wants to fight? Old hat guy's here. Hell, old hat guy. I like you, bro. You're old school. I just know it. I can tell. I have actually a surprising amount of boomers who watch my channel. Not using that term in any way offensively. I think it's fucking awesome. Like, anybody who's older than me that watches my channel, I feel like I owe them, like, some sort of I don't know how to put it. Like, when I was younger, I bought into that idea that older people are just stubborn and they don't know shit and that they're not keeping up with the changing times. And I still, because as I'm getting older, I'm almost 50, man. I'll be 47 this year. I'm starting to understand that and feel that. But at the same time, there's part of me that says, sticking to your guns and being who you are is important, but changing with time is important. But also, that old saying that if you're under 30 or under 20 and not a liberal, then you're got no heart. And if you're over 40 and not a conservative, you have no brain. I've probably said that a half dozen times on this channel, but I don't literally believe it. I just think that as we get older, we understand that protecting your family and your group and your friends is the most important thing. The rest of the world can take care of itself. And this is why so many people from the boomer generation have an issue with social justice warriors. This idea of people fighting for others' rights. It's something I didn't understand in the past. Like, why do they care if others want to protect minorities, And then I heard some really good arguments that, well, they don't understand the plight of a minority. A minority can fight for their own rights. They always have. Because that's what we do as humans. And that when other people step in and try to be the social justice warrior, that they end up coloring the issue worse because they don't understand what it really is like to be in that person's shoes, if that makes sense. It's complicated shit because I care about other people. I care about men, young men. I care about young women. I care about different races and cultures. But I know that we can't just change things because we want them to change overnight. We can try, but sometimes we don't understand the repercussions. It's like with feminism, became a huge thing, over the last couple decades. And why is there such a resistance to feminism? And I started wondering these things, like, why are people so resistant to others trying to have their equal rights? And then I realized that a lot of people don't want equal rights. They actually want to have more rights, or be treated special because they're in some class. And then other people, like what you might call the straight white male in the Midwest who lost his coal mining job, right? And he sees other people being treated and respected and revered and getting first in line treatment. In their minds, build a animosity towards other cultures, people they don't even know. And there's just so much hatred out there, Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and think about this shit and just like cry. I'll watch one video about somebody who is suffering and just be like, fuck, why do we let this shit happen? People who mean well, who harm others. It's ignorance. It's pure ignorance. It really is. Flipping through the comments more here after I get to the right rail. Still a cool city. A lot of homeless in Portland. Yes, that's absolutely true. Logic, I'm glad you're here. He says, and by the way, anybody out there who watches my channel, check out God damn it. My battery is dying on my phone. Give me 1 second. I gotta go get my charger. God damn it. I'm never prepared. I need to be prepared. All right. Now we got it figured out. This is real life, my friends. This is the reality. Phones die, cameras die, and cool. We're plugged in now. All right, going back through the comments. Logic. I was going to say he's had some interesting discussions as well. He says, I think egotistical people, especially men, are hilarious. Nothing's more embarrassing than someone who thinks they are extra special. Yeah, man. To be honest, I have mixed feelings about that too. It's like, what a bunch of idiots. But at the same time, there's part of me that wonders, is ignorance really bliss? If you don't know shit and you just think you're the most biggest badass in the world, that actually increases your endorphins, right? And makes you theoretically a happier person to think that you're on top of your game. But when you think it through as a philosophy, you realize that the side effect of this is that other people see right through it and just roll their eyes at you and think, fuck, what a douchebag. Therefore, you miss many opportunities and real relationships. Let me give you, I guess, a good example is this. There are people out there who wear name brand merchandise all the time. I have, and I know that I'm very alone in this, but I cringe when I see people head to toe with fucking perfectly white sneakers with their brands and their tags. When I see these wannabe gangster douchebags with their fucking hats on, with the sticker still on the tag, the actual purchase sticker hanging from a hat or something, I'm like, you're a douchebag, okay? You're not an alpha, you're not cool, you're just a fucking idiot. That's how I feel. I can't help it. Even when I try to say, hey, to each their own, there's a part of me that says, this person is a douchebag. And it's only because of my past interactions with people like that, and they're all fucking douchebags. They think they're cool. I seen a dude in like sandals with black socks, black shorts, a black turtleneck, and this like ball cap that was up on top of his head with a sticker on it, and then chains on his turtleneck yesterday. Like, and I'm like, cool. That's your thing, bro. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a stupid hippie. I wear dumb shit too. But I feel like a lot of these people aren't owning it. Like for me, I own my own style. When I go out, I wear my own shit. I wear plaid with stripes. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to wear a brand name or match anybody else's look. I'm trying to be myself. These dudes are out there trying too hard to look like other guys. It's fucking stupid. I just don't get it. And yeah, so I have mixed feelings because I'm like, hey, live and let live, man. To each his own, your own thing. Then there's part of me that says, dude, you're a fucking idiot. And I can't help but think you're an idiot. And I know that sounds harsh. It is harsh, but it's honest. It's how I feel. When I see dudes out there trying too hard, it just makes me cringe. You know, I grew up listening to a lot of rap and heavy metal and all kinds of shit in the 80s and 90s. A lot of rappers make me cringe, but I always loved Eminem because he could play it as a joke. I didn't realize this until much later, that he could make jokes about murder and everything and mayhem, but make it acknowledge that it was all in jest. And a lot of rappers didn't do this. I haven't seen another rapper like that until Prof. Prof. He is fucking phenomenal. If you like rap, he's a white dude with a mustache. He's just fucking funny ass guy. He's got these like live skits. He interacts with his fans. He talks with people. He's funny. He's a funny dude, and he plays the game and he has fun doing it. That I respect. If a man wants to play alpha to for his image, that I can laugh at and have a good time with, as long as he's not just actually thinking that he's really that badass. There's nothing more cringe than rappers with fucking gold teeth and fucking tattoos all over their faces and the same hats and the same clothes. and the same auto-tune garbage rap bullshit. I mean, it's sometimes I think maybe I'm just getting old. No, the music really sucks today. Rap was good at one time. It's fucking garbage. The lyrics are garbage. Nothing's really improved. Now there's a whole alternate community. There's Aesop Rock and Prof and other artists that have deep lyrics, but for the most part, the mainstream has always been garbage. And I mention that because within the mainstream is this kind of alpha culture, this idea that dudes can stand around the camera and be badass. Yo, man, fucking yeah. It's like I don't know. It just cracks me up. I mean, hey, I'm a passive observer, but I'm also an active participant because I live in this world just like the rest of you. And so, at any rate, I make sure you hit the thumbs up. God, I don't say that often enough, but you know, if you hit the thumbs up, then I'll do more of these live casts because it actually helps the algorithm and helps my channel. I didn't realize how many people forget to do that. But then again, if you think the video sucks, be sure to hit the thumbs down and be honest. And hey, well, fuck you if you do that, asshole. You're not an alpha male. Sorry, I'm having a little too much fun. And I haven't even been drinking. That's kind of the weird thing, right? Um, I was almost about to fall asleep before I started this cast, actually, and then I was like, yeah, I want to do this because I need to talk to my peeps live. And so now that I've gotten to this half point or whatever point in my live cast, and there's a few of you, 20 people, 21 people, looks like watching, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate that you took the time to come here and watch this video, that you actually give a shit about what I have to say. And because of that, it brings me to the main point in my videos like this, which is like, I want to hear what the fuck you have to say. There's no point in doing a live cast if I'm just talking to you live, if I'm not interacting with you. So I'm going to read through the rest of the comments, and then in the meantime, if you have a question, if you have something you want to know, something you want to hear about, whatever it may be, let me know. And I will try to answer that in the following part of the video. First, I'm going to flip through the rest of the comments. Hello, Aaron Olson. Hot Retarded Chick says, you owe me, man. I don't know you shit. You owe me, man. Scott says 63. I knew it. That ain't too old, though. You're young. Young at heart. Washington State just legalized bud when I was there. We'll never get legal weed in Florida. Well, you must have been there like a decade ago, because Washington, we legalized. Oh, maybe, no. I live in Washington State, and we legalized weed about 8-10 years ago. But we were the first state to do it before Colorado, or like the same time, because it was on the ballot for, states. And Colorado got to grow their own plants, just like California. We don't get to grow our own plants in Washington. So being first isn't always being best because they made hasty decisions. I still have to go down to the corner store to buy weed, but I ain't complaining. 60 to 90 bucks for an ounce of decent weed. It is what it is. Scott says, no access to grind. Old Hat says, old hat, dead fish, metalhead, dark, ultra, maga, leery, Kesey, gun-toting, machine elf destroyer. Ooh, DMT, are we going there? Listen to Ground Zero often. I don't know Ground Zero. Smartass Jury. Hello, my friend. He says, white sneakers are cool. I agree with white sneakers are cool, except if you get them dirty, don't sit and scrub them. Actually, this happened today. I saw a car. Traffic was slowed down. We went to my mother-in-law's 83rd birthday, right? And we set it up at a park. So we drove down to Portland, and on the way down Interstate 84, previously known as the Banfield, traffic was pretty slow for a Sunday. When we got up a ways, we realized why. There was a broken down Range Rover, I think, on the side of the road. And the dude was a douchebag. I mean, he didn't even pull over all the way into the emergency lane. He was like halfway into it, and so everybody had to go around him. And the dude's standing out there, and I guess I can't describe the guy and his color or anything because then it'll be somehow racist or hateful. The point being, the guy had these fucking impeccable white sneakers, and I could tell he had to change a tire. And his wife was standing there, like looking. My wife's like, "Yeah, his wife didn't look happy." And the dude's like sitting on his tailgate on the back of the car, scrubbing his sneakers off, these white sneakers. And I'm thinking, "Fuck your shoes! Get your fucking car out of the way. Get your tire fixed and move on." But it just made me laugh because I thought back to all the people I've seen who are so obsessed about their white sneakers. Give me a pair of brown sneakers. I'm gonna fuck them up. That's the way I've always been. So anyway, there I am going off about sneakers. Scott says, I shop Goodwill for secondhand clothing. Oh, dude, me too. In fact, everything I have is pretty much just from Goodwill, except this shirt. One of my subscribers sent me this shirt about 2 years ago, and I don't remember the guy's name. He said he started his own company, and he was making shirts, and he wanted to send me one as a gift. And I've had subscribers send me shit, and I always thank them through email or send them a note or a letter or do whatever I can. Or if they're Kratom, sometimes my Kratom customers will like be grateful because I usually send out extra samples with shit, and they'll be like, "Thanks, man," and they'll send me a gift back, and then I feel bad because I lose their info, and I'll like have a list of. I'll cut off the label so I can remember to send them a thank you. I just want to say I apologize if anybody out there has sent me something and I forgot to thank you. But whoever sent me this shirt, if you look at it closely, it's based on like a Shipibo design somewhat, which was like tribal designs. And it's made of this like kind of a stretchy, semi-stretchy fabric, but it's one of those shirts that just feels right all the time. And I'd love to get more. So if you're out there, dude, let me know. Old Hat says KRS-One. Wow, I haven't listened to KRS-One since the days of Sublime. That's great. Drinking Sammy Smith's Oatmeal Stout. Oh my God, Old Hat guy, you are fucking in my. You are one of me. I'm actually drinking Steady Orbit. I bought an IPA Ninkasi multi-pack, but IPA is my beer, but I used to drink Sammy Smith's Oatmeal Stout all the fucking time. It comes in those beautiful clear bottles that have a strong taper at the top. Great, great beer. Oatmeal Stout is only for certain old schoolers. Water lays flat. Hello, Tiger Bear. And says Logic says thanks for your shout out. Of course, brother. The dude we saw on the side of the freeway had a mattress atop the roof. Okay, my wife just left a comment to remind me. That's right. The dude didn't tie his mattress down, so it was like hanging off the side of his SUV, and it was like basically on the road, and so he's like scrubbing his sneakers. Like, I didn't even see any rope, but anyway, it was pretty funny. So yeah, that's she's like, I didn't notice his sneakers. That's exactly what I was watching. He's like sitting on the back and he's keeping his shoes off the ground and scrubbing them. I think that that's a perfect kind of segue into this idea that some of these guys that really think that they're tough or cool, it's like so subjective to what it means to be a man. So subjective to what it means to be a good man, even. Let's just say some people think if you work harder, it makes you a better man. Some people think if you work smarter or less, it makes you a better man. Oh no, I've dodged the system. I don't fucking know. I'm 47. I've worked several different jobs, moved to many different places, but have been relatively stable where I live now for a long time, but not stable in work because I have this. I have a wandering mind and a wandering spirit. It makes me want to continually try new things. Like I said, I've been building guitars. Like this one I just finished, not finished, but was working on. This was the circuit guitar. I had blue tape to protect the protrusions, but it's got a circuit board basically with resin over the circuit board. And on the front, I made like a clear pick guard. So I've never seen a clear pick guard in my life, so I wanted to do something different so I could see the electronics inside. The soldering's not done, but the pickups are in and everything, and then I drilled out for these fret markers and I put in the frets. And so This is, I think, my third. I even did a little Carpo thing at the top. And then I've got like these circuits on the other side. The blue tape's protecting shit until I get it all dialed in. But I had a guitar hanging up here the other day, just like this, on the same hook. And I was getting ready to go to work, and I bumped it, and it fell off, and just went slam. It was my first finished guitar. My first finished guitar. And it fell completely from right here. It went slammed onto the ground and bounced into the corner. I took a deep breath. I glanced at it and realized that it had hit right on the strap lock, which is the part where you hook a strap onto it. And so it's like a strap on. It's like a metal piece about that long, and it hit right there and shoved it completely into the guitar. Didn't put any dents in the wood itself, but totally screwed up the whole bottom section. So what I did was I hung it back up, took a deep breath, and went to work and forgot about it and didn't give a shit. Because that is, I think, one of the most crucial things we can do for ourselves. To be real, I guess, men, as guys would say. What does it mean to be a real man? Not getting angry at stupid shit. Knowing how to get pissed off when you need to get pissed off, but not being so weak that you ruin your whole day over stubbing your toe or even dropping your first guitar. Doesn't fucking matter. It's just stuff. Once something's happened, it's over. There's nothing you can do about it. You can slap yourself all you want, try to learn and do things better the next time, but it doesn't always work that way. We fuck up. We all fuck up. And so no regrets, man. No regrets. The best tattoo ever. No regrets. I love that. It's like you can't, if you're not aware of what I'm talking about, it's this old joke about a tattoo where somebody says no regrets, but the dude spelled it wrong and it says regrets, R and E are switched around. It's this idea that if you're going to say no regrets, you better fucking live up to it, right? And I look at everything that happens as a lesson to become a better person, to become a kinder person, to become not to become really anything except for happier in life. That's all that matters to me, honestly. Not just my happiness, but those around me, my immediate family, the people that I care about, even my friends, that the choices they make in their lives, they affect me too, of course. This is why I minimize my friend group and why I've always had a little bit of reluctance to make friends with new people. Because if I meet people who seem unstable, I don't want to fuck my life up worrying about their bullshit. That's selfish. I know that, but that's okay. Because it's my fucking life and I have the right to be selfish. Same way that you pick a wife or a husband or a friend or, anything else, or a job or an employee. You pick something that works for you. And it's not always the best choice, but when it is, you hang on to it and you do the best you can. And I feel like, back on kind of the alpha and the male kick, it's funny because you can't even, in a lot of circles, even talk about the idea of not just alpha males, but just being a man in general. There is a huge swath of, I should say, it's not a huge swath, but a lot of people in these groups that form online that are really out there to dismiss anyone who even talks about men or manhood as like it's just some creation and that men and women aren't a real thing and that there's some line that's just, it's bullshit. There are people who are intersex, there are people who are trans, but most people really do fall into a category of men or women. And because we've negated that in a lot of circles, people are afraid to talk about it. I'm talking about like colleges, things like that. Talking about literal sexual differences between men and women. Like men tend to be stronger and women aren't as strong. That is actually disputed by some people. And it's gotten very strange. It's gotten very weird. And I am not bringing this shit up to stir up any bullshit about trans community or gays. I don't give a fuck what people do with their personal lives. I'm saying it for the young men out there who really don't know where to go and who to be. I know that a majority, probably 80% of my audience is men. But I do have a lot of females that watch too, and I can't leave them out. But I think that a lot of women really want to understand men, just like men want to understand women. And men want to understand men, and women want to understand women. That's how we better live our lives and better understand each other, you know? So, yeah, it's a difficult topic, but it's one that I will not shy away from. Not just the men and women thing, but the drugs and alcohol dependency and the problems that we have, depression, anxiety. These are things that I like to talk about with people because I've had my own issues with them, with my own dependencies on drugs and my own issues with addiction in the past and currently. And I feel like we've kind of glossed over the real world problems to worry about stupid shit that doesn't matter as much in society. I mean, it's starting to seem that way anyway. Yeah, it's confusing shit. Old Hat says, somebody stole my bike. Oh god, that sucks, man. Somebody stole my fucking car a while back. No regrets about that potato stealing the election? None at all. Well, yeah, I'm not doing politics ever again. I'm not going to talk about any of them. I've written off politics completely from my channel. Completely. US politics, I have no interest in talking about anyone. After I watched what happened in the last 5-6 years with both of the past and current president, I lost all faith in the electoral system, but also lost all faith in the ability for people to have rational discussions about what's important. Nothing's getting done in this country. And so fuck them all. Fuck all the politicians. Trump included. He ain't my guy either. Excuse me. Logic says, wanted to take a moment to send a bit of respect your way. Your intellectual integrity is super refreshing and brings me peace of mind. Well, I appreciate that, brother. I feel the same way about you. Anybody who's willing to sit in front of a camera and talk without editing their thoughts about controversial or interesting issues, I have a high respect for. And I highly urge anybody out there who wants to talk about shit to just do it. We need more people talking about real life and how we really feel, not the facade that's being put up for what's real. My channel just started growing again after, being stagnant for like 2 years. Getting like 100 subscribers a month, which ain't shit. I mean, some people are like, I got 100,000 in a month. But it's not about the amount. It's about the fact that it is growing and I'm reaching people. Unfortunately, it's probably some of it through the stereo videos I made, because I made a couple of videos about speaker cables and audio files, and I'm just getting attacked on the daily on that video I made a couple of weeks ago. But here's the funny thing. I'm really enjoying it. Because I have people saying, well, you just don't understand stereos and equipment. And I'm like, well, show me the science. Oh, well, I can hear the difference between speaker cables. I don't need science, petty science. So what I'm saying is when I put out thoughts into the world that maybe are controversial, the reason I do it is not to prove others wrong, as much as usually my intention is not to make people feel dumb for their purchase of $100,000 speaker cables, but rather to save other people from spending money on shit they don't need, and to also see if I'm wrong. This is the key. If you put your ideas out there, if you're wrong, people will prove you're wrong. And you have to be willing to take that. And I have had to admit that I was wrong many times through my channel. But with certain things, even the experts and self-proclaimed audiophiles can't prove me wrong on the power cable or speaker cable discussion. So I guess what I'm getting at is that it's really helped me to say, okay, it's confirming my position. And I think that anybody out there who has questions about life should put their thoughts in video format, share it on YouTube, and get back to what it was really meant to be, was YouTube, not, ad tube, but I get off. Oh, but I digress, right? That's funny shit. Amy says, show us what a real man is, Mr. Josh. Oh, I'll fucking show you. You see that shit? You see that muscle? Okay, so check this out. You can't see it from there because my camera is actually stretching out my arm, but I have it actually sticks up like this far. It's just that I haven't eaten my spinach today. And that's just the muscle part. If you saw how big my brain was, it actually started pushing out of my skull down into my stomach. And, I've, through the vagus nerve, I've grown a brain through my whole body. But more than that, not only am I invincible, but kryptonite can't touch me either. And I know you're thinking, bullshit. Kryptonite can affect any Superman. But I'm not a Superman. I'm a super. What's the word? I'm a super eunuch. I'm a eunuch. So you can't do nothing. You can't touch me. I'm untouchable. Um, yeah. No, that's just the thing. There is no such thing as a real man. There are just men, and men who act like children. Being a real man, let me just say it this way: it's being able to admit when you've made a mistake. It's being able to make an effort to protect those around you, your family. It's not about being the provider, bringing home millions of dollars, because financial security is not security. It's about mental security. And I really believe that a man should be able to handle his shit. But no matter how much money you have, if you can't fix your own sink, I know. I can, I just don't do it. I just leave the plumbing until it completely falls apart, and then I'm forced to fix it. But no. There's an old joke about the carpenter never fixing his own house or the mechanic fixing his own car. It's true. If you work all day, building stuff, you don't want to work on other shit. It's like, oh, I do that for a living. It's the same way as my wife as a server coming home and not wanting to probably feed the family, which she does because she's awesome. I got to get better at that. Being a man, yeah, it's hard. We know when we're failing. Not just at being a man. I'm not talking about that. It's just being a human being and being kind and doing the right thing. Like, there's a part of us that tells us when we fucked up. There's a part of us that tells us when we need to do better. And then there's this arrogance that creeps in when we know we're doing our best and we say, we won't let any bullshit touch us. Like, if you're working and you're bringing in income to survive, and you're also taking care of your business and your bills and the things you need to take care of, and that you are working towards something in your future, usually that's enough for most people. It's not complicated. I feel like people really overcomplicate things. This, beneath the alpha culture, is hustle culture, okay? And you don't hear hustle culture preached to women or by women. It's always dudes. And these are the tech bros, right? The crypto bros and the NFT bros. Now, I did upload a video the other day, last week, but then I just made it public the other day about NFTs and cryptocurrency. It's almost like I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to hurt people's feelings if they feel like it's going to save their ass. The crypto bros are so fanboys about this shit. They really think that, Bitcoin's going to save us from, apocalypse. But hey, man, crypto, I think blockchain technology is great. In principle, it has many applications, maybe that we haven't seen yet. But don't try to tell me that some picture of a fucking ape, a bored ape with a cigarette in his mouth and a hat on, is worth 200,000 or $200 million. Since I made that video, the current crypto has just completely fucking crashed to shit, and so have NFTs. Some of them losing 1,000 times their value. The reason being because there was no value originally. I'm sorry to say, but digital pictures, which are just copies of the same picture, which have different hats and different accessories, which are done by an algorithm or a computer, which are not actually painted by a person, which means that they have no real value, means that they have no real value. But even if you take the Mona Lisa and you take a picture of it and you sell it as an NFT, it doesn't fucking matter because the picture still exists. Now, if you're not familiar with NFTs, I'm not going to talk about this very long here unless people want to. But there was a famous painting that somebody recently burned. They took a picture, made it into an NFT, and then burned the original painting so nobody could have it, and then sold the digital copy. This to me is the most absurd, stupid fucking piece of shit type crap in the modern day. You're willing to burn somebody's actual physical painting so you can sell a picture of it. I feel like the internet has lost its fucking mind. And amidst this, there's this whole kind of, I love the term tech bro because it really does resonate with how I feel about some of these people. They're just tech bros. They're young dudes who got into the tech, industry. Maybe they learned some coding or something in school. Then they go to work in Silicon Valley for Google or something, and they think that they're the police of the world. That they're the best moderators. They know what kind of things shouldn't be talked about and should be talked about, and these are the products that matter and the ones that don't. Because these people flourish, we end up with things like the metaverse. And I've got to say, I've heard a lot of people are really excited about the metaverse, but I haven't met any. Nobody. Do they really exist? Of course, there's people out there who are going to be super excited and reluctantly take it on and get in Mark Zuckerberg's fake ass world of bullshit icons. But there are people who are already selling land and property in the metaverse that doesn't even fucking exist yet. I mean, it's doesn't exist at all and never will. I don't even know how to deal with this kind of stuff. Like, shit's changing so fast. Even 11 years ago, maybe 12 now, 11 years ago, I think, when I started my YouTube channel, it was a completely different world. I mean, we had video responses. You could literally go to someone's video, watch it, and then leave a video response and link it to your video. So somebody would be looking through the comments, and there's an actual video click on, and you would see somebody else's response. This was probably, in my opinion, one of the most useful things ever on YouTube. They eliminated it because it was taking away from the traffic from other channels where they can make their revenue. They got rid of private messaging, direct messaging, all these different things. And then YouTube became a sterile wasteland of trash. And there were so many times I wanted to quit making videos on here and just switch to something else. Somebody's like, check out Odyssey. So I did. It's just a bunch of frustrated white dudes complaining about how Nazis are the way to go and how Jews ruin the world. I just can't take that. Like, I don't see it. I see idiots everywhere. People ruining the world, people ruining society. It doesn't matter what color they are, what religion they are. It doesn't matter. The idea that the point I'm getting at is that YouTube sucks now because they got rid of a lot of the controversy. But that controversy moved elsewhere. So now you've got a bunch of haters and angry people who want to post all their rhetoric elsewhere. It's kind of the idea that what if you really took free speech away? Or rather, what if you let free speech completely run unchecked on Twitter, for example? It's a lot of people are talking about it with the whole Elon Musk thing. Yeah, so we bought Twitter. Stupidest purchase I've ever seen. To me, here we have the world's richest man, and he's spending $45 billion on a stupid fucking internet platform for posting just words. Like, to me, that's just a dumb purchase. Like, there's so many better things we could do in the world. That's just me. But I'm not an Elon fan at all. I think the guy's very intelligent, but I think that he doesn't have a real view on what the average person needs in this world at all. Therefore, he's just another billionaire with all these dreams that really don't resonate with what the average person is going to utilize in their life, in my opinion. I don't think we're going to end up on Mars, but hey, to each his own. But we let these celebrities kind of determine what's normal and what's real. And I don't know what to think about it all. I feel like it's very cringe, a lot of it, especially the kind of like fanboy type attitude we have about guys like Elon Musk. It's like, okay, so he's, we are littering the fucking, the skies with all these satellites. Cool. I don't know, when maybe we see the benefits to us as individuals, maybe I'll, say, okay, then I can see it now. But sending a car off into space and wanting to go to Mars and, this idea of, well, we don't want to work on mass transit to help the actual problems in LA. Instead, we are going to spend billions of dollars boring a hole under the ground with the boring company, and then we are going to drive Teslas through it. So therefore, pretty much it just negates the whole purpose of mass transit, right? It's just allowing only Tesla drivers or people who are willing to pay, just allows more profiteering. And that's where we're at right now. Private profiteering. And people cheer it on. But make it clear here that I'm not a socialist or a communist. I don't believe that all things should be split between people. I've been torn in the past on these issues, but I've seen that a lot of what people say about, survival of the fittest, of course, is very true. We need to be able to take care of our own shit, and there will be suffering. There will be people who can't do as well. But am I my brother's keeper? I don't know. It's very subjective. I think that there's a certain amount of selfishness you have to live a happy life, meaning not believing that everything needs to be spread equally. But at the same time, capitalism running unchecked with shit like, letting people drill holes underneath the city, that kind of stuff. It's one of the most complicated issues. Like, you want to let people do what they want to do, but we've seen where this goes. Like, okay, capitalism is the way. Okay, let people put an oil mine, an oil field in your backyard. No, I don't want to fuck up my land. It's the old NIMBY, if you're not familiar. Not in my backyard. It's one of my favorites. One of the best George Carlin skits, NIMBY. The idea that people want more jails, they want more prisons, they want more of this and more of that, and more factories, but they don't want them in their backyard. They want them elsewhere, so they don't have to look at them or smell them. And so we live in a very unfair society where the poorest people end up living near these areas. And yeah, that's another story altogether. I'm going to flip through the comments real quick and see if anybody has any questions so far here. 2,000 Mules. Oh no. 2,000 Mules is that new, totally bullshit documentary that I've already looked into, and all their info is completely skewed. But I guess it's about the election and election fraud. I don't really care who's president at this point. I think that they all suck. Oh. Smartass jury says, takes a lot of energy. All these BS. Yep. Democrats. No, I'm a liberal, so, if you want to find a cure to people like me, then feel free. I definitely, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a liberal because I'm a true liberal. And so I think by me saying that, I can feel pretty confident in saying that I stand up for other liberals because I'm not, it's complicated. Like I said, liberal in the sense that I believe that people should be able to do what they want. The fact that many conservatives are trying to overturn Roe versus Wade, to me, it's just fucking pathetic, and it should be shameful, that anybody would support that, because it's the people that make the decisions. And yeah, complicated shit. MC Hammer. Amy says, I fixed my own block sink. I felt very accomplished. Dude, sometimes it can be fucking brutal. I had my bathtub. It'll get really clogged, and then I won't be able to get it with any drain snakes. It's just like it won't reach it and won't reach it. And then finally one day I'll try it and it'll work. Maybe it's just like I hit it and it finally pushes it through. Maybe just enough clog. I'll pour in the acids. Yeah, it's just horrible. Block drains are some of the worst, but they can be the most rewarding as well. NPCs over NFTs. Amy says, let's face it, it's the end times and we're losing our minds. Social media is manipulating us into thinking that we need to be this or that to have worth. But hasn't it always been that way? I mean, if you really think about it, I agree with you in principle, but also it's the people's fault. It's the same way that a century ago people were saying that in 1900 the world's going to end unless you take Jesus Christ as your Lord. Like, religion has always worked people's minds. It's just that the new religion is no religion. The new religion is believing individuals over ideas and not really following your heart and your mind, but following douchebags that you see on the internet. People, look at Jake Paul, that whole boxing and all the bullshit that they have with these YouTube celebrities with millions of viewers, tens of millions of people who watch them. And you say, well, this is what people are into. This is what a lot of the youth is watching now. And we're up against a fucking brutal bunch of idiots. Hey, Chris. It's good to see you, my friend. Remember chat rooms? Yes, I do. People in medical base from actors in Big Bird. That is all. Old Hat says the super rich are escaping to bunkers. Yeah, I'll let them. I figure, whatever happens, will probably fucking flood them. Uh, Chris says, aside from the absolute bad theme of Roe versus Wade, from a constitutional standpoint, it does run completely counter to the 10th Amendment. Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. Here's the thing. Okay. If you're an American citizen and you believe in freedom, you believe in freedom and freedom to choose what you want, to vote how you want, to be how you want, you unfortunately have to also support a woman's right to choose for herself whether she wants an abortion. I know this is a touchy subject and I'm probably stepping on toes by even talking about this, but I don't give a fuck. It is a woman's choice. I don't believe that a baby is, born at conception, that, these people who are against, want to overturn Roe v. Wade are the kind of people who say, oh, women just want to kill their babies. Like, shut the fuck up. This is not true. There are some fucked up women out there. But you know what? Those women out there who are that mentally unstable, they're going to find a way to do it anyway. They'll suffocate them, whatever it takes. That's harsh, but it's true. There are some unstable people out there. But because of them, you can't use that as an excuse to try to use your religion to tell other women what they should do. There is a strong belief in that those old school Christians that the woman should be at home and she should listen to what the man says and produce as many babies as possible. And back to the alpha thing, if you watch some of these guys, that's what they'll say. The woman should be in the kitchen. She should be making as many babies as possible. There's guys that actually think this stuff. And the fact that we allow this to be normalized in any way, shape, or form is preposterous. We're talking about a decades old law, one of the most landmark rulings that a woman should have the right to her own reproductive choices. There are still some religions that don't even allow condom use. Okay? I You want to talk about progressivism versus, conservatism. Sometimes conservatism actually destroys people's health because they're afraid to look forward. It's like there has to be a balance. We don't have to change everything, but we do have to allow people to make their own choices, especially with reproductive health. That's freedom. And if you don't believe in it, then you're not a freedom loving American. If you don't think a woman should be able to choose, then you're not a freedom loving American. That's just how it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So that's how I feel on it anyway. But I could be wrong, and I probably am because, that's how it is. All right, Amy says, don't worry about not having millions of followers on YouTube. The masses are idiots. If most people like you, that's a compliment. Well, I appreciate that, but honestly, I don't want millions of followers on YouTube. If I did, it would be on one of my other channels, and I would love to actually honestly set up a channel just for getting views, just to get ad revenue so I can make a living and do what I want to do. Of course, I want some of that internet cash like everybody else. I don't make shit off YouTube. But I'm so grateful. I wouldn't even be able to do a live cast like this and talk and read all your comments like that. I've watched a few live streams, and when you look at the comments on the side, they're just blowing through. Nobody gets heard. Nobody talks to anybody. It's just too fast. I would not want that. Of course, it would be great on another channel to make money, but that's just really what I'm not all about. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the subscribers I do have, every one of you who's watching is doing so because you want to hear me, not because you think I'm going to do some extreme thing or a stunt or, impress you in some way, but just you want to hear what I have to say about life, and I appreciate that. Like, it's weird to me. Like, okay, so there's 26 people in here right now. That means I try to picture, 5 rows of 5 people with one dude in the back, uh, listening to what I'm saying right now. It's a very strange feeling and not something that I take lightly or think, oh, good, people listen to me. I feel like I have to perform and talk to you and actually interact and be, coherent and have something to say because I care about the viewers. And I feel like when you have a channel with millions of viewers, people just stop giving a shit about the actual viewers, and they become the Jake Pauls of the world, where they think everybody's their gang or their team. Like, eh, no, no, no. That's a pretty good beer. Pretty good beer. Two wolves and a sheep voting. Yeah. Yeah, I don't do politics, like I said. I ain't ever talking about politics anymore. Well, I probably will, but like I said, I don't give a shit about either one of the politicians that we had options for this last time, and I don't think presidents really have that much say anyway. So back to the comments here. Wayward sheep. We are the universe becoming aware of and experiencing itself. We are the sovereign authority for our unique and individual selves. Our governments are literally terrorists. Hmm. Okay, well, I believe that we should be sovereign, but I believe that also part of that sovereignty requires we work together. So it would be kind of like working with the pack. So if one wolf has sovereignty and he tries to be the alpha of the pack, let's say, and he gets his ass kicked out of the pack, that's his own fault, and he ends up losing out because he's not with the pack. Sometimes subduing yourself and taking your place means being humble, and I think that that is important that we fit in too. So in other words, it's like I try to teach my kids. It's like be yourself, be an individual, stand out and do the things you want to do to be yourself, but also learn when to be part of the crowd and when to fit in, because sometimes standing out isn't the best thing to do, and it really depends, I guess, on who you are. So I think that we are all sovereign, but as far as the government being literally terrorists, I don't believe that at all. I know a lot of folks do believe that everyone who is a politician or everyone in government is corrupt, but unfortunately that would mean that my statistical analysis of different personalities and people is completely off base, and that really everyone who's in politics has some agenda to screw over other people. I will agree that a lot of people are in it for themselves and their own ego, but I think that there are a lot of people out there who genuinely want to help. My example would be the same way that in Portland, when I was filming all the fucking riots down there, and there were people spray painting a cab everywhere, which is all cops are bastards, and that pissed me off from day one. I was like, if you tell anybody that everyone in their group is a bastard, why should they give a shit about you or even listen to you? It's the same way when people say all politicians are bad or all politicians are liars or greedy, then it just makes people more likely to be that way. Just like if you think all cops are crooked, if you keep telling someone they're something, then they're going to just become that person. And that's the same way I feel about men and women, and why we shouldn't talk shit about each other or groups or liberals saying, oh, liberals are this or all conservatives are this. It's lazy thinking, and we know better, but we do it. We just can't help it. We really can't help it. Yep. Freedom with our limits. Freedom without limits are a bad thing. Yes, this is true. I agree, Chris, on the reading other people's comments. Wayward says that's your subjective limitation of the universe and yourself, dude. Yeah, I guess, probably. Freedom without limits encompasses the infinite, which is good, bad, and everything in between. Good and bad are subjective perspectives. Absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. But good and bad are subjective. However, there are ratios of human beings that are more likely to agree that certain things are good or bad. So no matter how much we might think something's good, such as let's say incest is good. Cool if you think that, but most people don't. So it's not, no matter how subjective something is, there are certain things we all agree on, such as harming children is bad or killing someone for no reason is bad. So I try to find the things that we can agree on and at least kind of try to analyze that and figure out why we agree on them. Because things are subjective, but only to a point. Marty says, have you been watching the Depp trial? Fuck no. I posted actually a community post the other day that says, "Am I only one that doesn't give a fuck about Johnny Depp?" And hey, no fault to any of you because I'm probably the only one. I guarantee you, all 23 of you probably have been watching the Depp trial, and or at least part of it. I, from day one, decided I don't want to know what's going on. I don't want to watch any of it. I don't want to read any of the headlines, and I honestly have no idea what's going on with the Johnny Depp trial at all, except what my wife has told me because she's into it. And that's cool. It's her thing. I could not do it. I refuse to let Hollywood celebrities be relevant in my life. And I know people have said that, oh, well, it's more than that. It has to do with the way, the Me Too movement and the way that women have treated men and all this. I get that. But no, it's Johnny Depp. That's why it matters. And I just can't do it. I don't think that this is going to change anything. I don't think it's going to change anyone's mind. People have already feel the way they feel. And I think it's more of a let's look at the circus, the freak show. It's a freak show. Okay. That's how I feel. And I've had an issue. I didn't watch any of the OJ trial back in the day. I don't keep up with this shit because I feel like it's feeding the fire. I feel like it's feeding the downfall of society. The fact that people are paying attention to this kind of shit actually kind of angers me. It's weird. Like, not angers me, but it really does frustrate me. I feel like, God damn it, don't people know better? Can't people control themselves? It's like eating too much sugar. Yeah, I'm eating too many candy bars. I know it's bad for me. There are mental candy bars, and Johnny Depp is a mental fucking junk food. And it's going to benefit anyone to know any of this shit. But if it's entertaining, at least acknowledge it for what it is. It's just entertainment for most people. That's how I feel. Here I am going off about Johnny Depp. That's probably the most I've talked about it at all. Uh, Wayward says, work together. I agree. I do not mean we need no order. I mean that we need to follow our hearts and speak out against systematic hate. I agree with that, but I don't know what systematic hate is. If you can define that, then maybe I could pursue that further. I don't know what systematic hate is. Emi says, if I had some money, I'd be happier. I know that for a fact. Um, I probably would be for a limited time, but I've heard that anything over a certain amount just brings you more trouble. So I'm trying to figure out what that amount is. I feel like the hunt for more money is often the greatest reward itself. I feel like if I was a millionaire, I would become kind of miserable if I had too much. If I had just maybe a few million, where I had to keep working and could, get the things I want, that'd be fucking great. I would never turn down millions of dollars, don't get me wrong. It's just like I feel like part of the joy is kind of the hunt. Just going by people who are rich and what they say, but hey, what do I know? I'm not never know, right? Not until I'm rich anyway. Chris says, I'm myself. I'm not the suit type who could work in an office. Dude, you and me both. I will never work an office job. I'd rather just fucking live in the woods. Amy says, you need to pay $2,000 just to have a nice apartment here in California. Same up here in Portland. It's getting bad. That's why I want to sell my house and move more because really the value right now is almost worth it. Yeah. People say that money can't buy you happiness. I've never been broke. Yeah, that's a good point too. Absolutely true. But those who say money can buy you happiness have never had excess money. And I can't say I ever really have, but there have been times when I've been making good money. Um, 10 years ago or 8 years ago, I was making better money than I am now. I mean, I was working as a carpenter making like 40, 45 bucks an hour sometimes. It's great. Bringing home extra money, uh, it didn't make me any happier. As long as I have enough to pay the bills and move forward, I think it's great. But yes, having not enough really does suck. But what happens when we do have enough is we create new problems for ourselves. Humans are always looking for the next problem. The thing is, when you have not enough money, you're always working to get more money. When you have more money than you need, you're anxious and depressed about trying to protect it. Like, anybody, if you've ever had extra money saved up, you don't want to spend it. You don't want to break that 100 or break $1,000. You like want to keep that money whole, and it becomes kind of stressful. Like even when you've got a nest egg, then when you tap into that, you start stressing out about, oh no, now I don't have that anymore, and it just seems like it's a never-ending battle. It's like chasing the dragon. So Marty says, why is Tillamook ice cream smaller now? Everything's smaller now, dude. Oh God, yeah. Everything is getting smaller now. I'm reading through the comments, so don't mind me. Ha! Amy says, I don't trust anyone who opens a pint of ice cream and doesn't eat it all in one go. That's me. Honestly, don't. I don't think I've ever eaten a pint all to myself in one sitting. And I'm a huge sugar fan. I grew up eating fucking tons of candy, but when it comes to ice cream, a pint will last me like 4 servings, at least 3. That's just how I am, though. I like Ben and Jerry's. It's thicker, but I don't eat much ice cream. Follow our hearts, says Wayward. Surrender, embrace ourselves and fears, and accept what the universe is trying to convey. Yeah, and maybe eat some mushrooms and some acid, and then you can go a little faster into that. I took some orange gel tabs like a few weeks ago, and it was great. I actually just took one out in the woods. It's funny, I was going to actually post the video of me cracking up and laughing on this rock. I was recording myself, and I had my camera set up, and I guess, yeah, I was just laughing out loud. It was pretty funny. Um, Psychedelics allow us to open up our minds much deeper to the truth around us and see things for what they are. And this is something I believe firmly, not something that I just take for granted as like, oh, well, I've had some cool trips and I saw some weird shit, but rather analyze this shit for the last 30 years and really say, no, this is something that can open people's minds to a whole new way of thinking and a way that's actually beneficial most of the time. Very often, if you're directed properly, you can learn more about yourself on one night on psychedelics than you can in a year of psychotherapy. So, anyway, yeah. I should do a um, I should do a post about that eventually. Old hat guy says Alex Jones was right. No, he wasn't. No, I'm still waiting for the reptilians. Um, Wayward says I'm talking about the government turning their light. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit going on out there. You know, people want to attack people, and governments want to do this and that, and they don't have our best interests at heart. I just don't care anymore. Like, I honestly don't give a shit what the government's doing. This has been kind of an ongoing thing for me over the years since I was, back in the early 90s when I learned that the government had done this and these experiments and how corrupt it all was. And like, I just don't understand why I would want to waste the energy on it because there's nothing I can do about it. Obviously, you can't vote the problems out of office. So for me, this is something I decided long ago. I'm not going to try to change the system by voting or by any political means. I'm going to play it. I'm going to look at what options are available and utilize that to the best of my ability to make my own life better. Because if I don't, I can try to play the fake hero and that doesn't mean I'm going to screw people over. No, it just means that I'm going to do the best I can within the system and not waste energy on saying, rah rah for this president or that president or politician. I don't care. I don't vote anymore. I don't give a fuck. I'll vote on local issues involving schools, things like that. But I'm not voting for any, federal laws or presidents anymore. I just don't care. And I know people would say, well, that's selfish, or if you don't vote, you can't complain. You're right. I don't want to complain either. I just don't care anymore. I've really given up on. I figure the system will eat itself, and I really believe it will. And people, like they say, Americans get who they voted. They get what they deserve, right? So yeah, I don't think the institutions have our best interest at heart, which means we are the only ones that should, and we need to deal with it. And Wayward also says, why do we not teach our young how to survive, honor, to, and live with nature? Why do we only know how to go to grocery stores? Well, that depends on who your young are. I have young, and I do teach them those things. I teach them all about nature and, It's just depends on the parents. Don't it's there's some dumbasses out there who don't know how to teach their kids, and I think all of us are rookies at that. But yeah, I agree. You should. Emi says, "Do you believe in the law of attraction?" No, I don't. It's complete bullshit in my mind. And believe me, I've looked into it with the idea. What was it? The Secret. I read that book whenever it came out. The Oprah bullshit. The whole thing that if you just wish it and you put up your dream board, then it'll come to you. Nobody talks about the millions of people who it doesn't work for. It's always this one. Oh, this guy had a picture of this house on his wish board and he ended up living in that exact house. It's like, great, that's good for him. It really comes down to the person, and I think that we put too much faith in just thinking if we look at a picture or just hope we can get something that it'll come to us. The law of attraction only works if you work towards it, which really is just the law of motivation. That's in my opinion anyway. Aaron, good to see you. Says humans are always looking for the next problem. So true. After studying Buddhism, I see that it's all about seeing what is instead of what we think. So beyond thinking equals less problems. You nailed it. It ain't always easy, but it's true. That's exactly how I feel. Uh, we have enough personal issues. Maybe you got a toothache. Maybe you have a digestive problem, right? Maybe you have a relationship problem, or your kids are angry, or your parents are angry. Who gives a fuck what he's doing in Washington, D.C.? I mean, really, I think that people are just completely wasting their time worrying about that shit. And I know that there's this kind of nagging part of ourselves that says, no, but I have to be part of this because it's part of the system. And if I want to make change, I've got to improve the world around me. The thing is, a bunch of people in suits and ties all the way across the country, yeah, they make decisions that affect me, but I can't change their stupidity. I don't won't live it long enough to really give a shit. And if that's your battle, then let it be your battle. It's not my battle. I don't have the energy for it any more than I have the energy for Johnny Depp. Which is weird because I wonder why I have the energy to come and like entertain myself by watching certain things, or even to want to entertain you guys or talk to people on YouTube. Like, okay, so I don't want to waste my time with trivial shit like Johnny Depp, but I'm willing to sit here and make a video about random shit like alpha males on YouTube. But it's because of the interaction, the connections I have with all of you. So, yeah, Alex Jones is white. Yes, he is. Aaron's background looks awesome. Thanks, man. I've been building guitars for like 6 months now. I actually just up. I was just cutting all of these like maple neck blanks, and yeah, I'm learning how to carve down the necks just to a certain standard and texture the way I want it to be. And I have come a long way since I started the whole guitar building thing. Some of the first ones I made were like based on my very first bass guitar. This was a Samick model that I put the old pickups into a new body made out of pine. Still wiring it up. It's got a ways to go. But anyway, I got all kinds of shit over here, including even a friend, my buddy Joel. He just gave me some maple the other day, which I ripped down, and it made this beautiful like flame maple, which I'm going to turn these into fretboards. So this is kind of my secondary office here, where I wouldn't say it's really a background, but just all the shit that I'm trying to stay motivated. I'm trying to not waste my time on stupid shit. I'm trying to buckle down and get things done, and to improve my own life and that therefore my family's life. And that's what's really important to me. I have such gratitude for who I am and what I have, but I also know that life's a struggle and that we work for it. Nothing comes easy, nothing comes free. I think that's part of being an American. You bust your ass for shit, and maybe that's why people don't like, aren't more interested in charity or in welfare, those kinds of things. It's not because people don't care about each other, but because there's this underlying idea that we got to work hard for what we want. And it's true. It really is true. Like I say, that's what it comes down to. Kind of like, I feel like if the government, wasn't siphoning all our taxes and wasting it on stupid shit, then people would probably take care of each other much better. You want folks in your community to do well. Therefore, when we're taxed, we figure, well, that tax isn't being spent on those people who need help. Let the tax dollars take care of it. But if there weren't any, we would be obligated. The same way, if there's a pothole in the road, you'll just drive around it every day for months or years. Whereas if you didn't think there was somebody coming to fill that pothole, you and your homies would come down there and you'd pack that shit up yourself, like they do in a lot of neighborhoods. I think the future of America, as well as much of the world, is going to be people taking care of their own areas again. It's going to become more localized, decentralized authority. I firmly believe in smaller communities and smaller nations. I believe that the U.S. could probably divide into 4 separate countries and be much better off. You can still stand up for each other, but if the South wants to fucking do what the South wants to do, let them, and people can move around to areas that better suit their needs. It seems that there's too much conflict in this idea that the liberal states or the conservative states, fine. The truth is that it's pretty evenly divided in most areas. I just think that I've always had this idea that maybe Cascadia would be better off separating into, a couple of states up here that are their own country, but maybe not. Just people don't seem to know what the fuck they want anymore. You know what I mean? It's just really becoming absurd. So I'm going to read a few more comments and then I'm going to go because I've been on here for a long time and it's getting late. And, Wayward says, sorry for spamming the chat, man. Hey, no problem. Hey, dude, I know how it feels. It's hard to have a lot of people to talk to, and so no problem at all, man. Everyone's grown up and moved away. Yeah, that happens too. I feel bad. Like my mom, she lives alone right now, and I feel like it sucks because she doesn't have anybody to talk to. When we end up talking, she's got all kinds of stuff to say, and I'm like already overwhelmed because I've got kids all yelling in my ear all day, and it's like this. But I listen because I care, just like I do with other people, because if people have something to say, then they have something to say. You know what I mean? We're all just people. We're all just people. Chris says they planted a tree with his grandpa. Yeah, dude, planting trees with young people is an awesome thing. I did that with my kids with the cedar tree in the back. They probably won't remember it, and a maple tree as well. Something to come back and look back on and look at the real. Hot retarded chick says Queen Bee Knightley is still. Dude, I haven't heard the name Queen Bee in a long time. I really hope she's doing well. She gave up on kind of for YouTube, so I don't know what she's been up to lately. Controversial topics and kind of walked away from it all. She says Carpo is a dirty hippie. Well, she's right. She's right. It is hard to meet new people, you guys. Yeah, reading through the comments here, it's like, man, it's fucking. I feel bad for people who are lonely because I'm married. I've got a wife and I've got kids and I have some friends that visit and I'm grateful for that. Like people to talk to, I can't imagine what it would be like to live alone and not have any friends. I think it's one of the things that can really fuck us up the most. Yeah, it's sad. Robin says, my social life is on Zoom now. Maybe we could have a meetup. Yeah, I haven't ever used Zoom. I think once for my kids' school or something, but it's just sad that people want to meet up with other people. People want to make connections, and that so many people are unable to do that. It's such a simple thing. It's one of those basic human needs. Beyond, food and water and shelter, we need people. And I've had this conversation with folks in the past, and they said, no, I don't need anybody. I just want to live alone. I don't care. I'm like, that's maybe a small segment of people could get away with that. But for most people, they need people. We need people. We need people to talk to. And I've actually wanted to, there's part of me that wants to help people. I've actually thought about making a video saying, hey, if you need any mental, health discussion, not mental health discussions, but rather, if you're feeling down, call me, man. No, really, like, I'm not good on the phone, not that way, but telling people, hey, if you want to chat, if you're depressed, if you're anxious, or considering self-harm or anything like that, message me. I unfortunately have received probably at least 3 or 4 emails from people over the last several years that told me that they were considering suicide, and it really fucking really hurts my heart. Here I am put in a situation where people send me a message saying, I saw your video, it really, you just seem like a cool guy. I'm really down. I just want to end it. I don't want to live anymore, yada yada. What do you do? How do you, like, it's one of the hardest things I've ever encountered. And not be like, oh, it's okay, bro, you're all good, just type them a message. It's like you want to help people, but you don't know how. You don't know them. You don't know their circumstance or situation. You don't know if they're just, blowing something stupid out of proportion, or if their life is just completely horrible. And being human is complicated. So I just want to say, don't be afraid to reach out to people when you need help. Don't be afraid to talk to people. It's hard when you're young. I know it's really hard when you're young, especially. Hopefully, as we get older, and sometimes it should get easier, but sometimes our arrogance gets in the way, where we feel like we should be, have our shit together, where we should know what we're talking about. And how, why would we let somebody else determine, what's right for us? And I know, because I'm one of those people. I'm very stubborn, and I can't imagine myself ever going to a counselor or to a psychiatrist or psychologist. I'm the kind of person who can't be hypnotized, because I don't believe I could be hypnotized. And I'm very, that makes me feel like I'm very lonely. And in the sense that the problems that I face in my mind aren't so simple as, like, oh, I just can't get along with someone, or oh, it's hard for me to, like, speak or find work, or I feel insecure because of this. It's like my questions are fucking existential dread. Like, I have some really deep fucking weird thoughts about shit in life. Not bad, but just stuff that I know nobody can help me with. Because I couldn't help anyone else with any of these things either. There are things we have to process in our minds, and over a period of time, hopefully, at least learn to accept, because we're not going to understand all these things. I just saw my brother sending me text messages. I'm doing this because they pop up on my phone about Van Halen, I think. I don't like Van Halen. I never did. Discord chat. Okay, so you guys like that idea? Maybe we can. If you guys help me and figure out how to set it up. I mean, oh wait, Discord. Oh yeah, I do have Discord. I've done live on Discord, but I've never done a Discord chat. Wouldn't it be the same thing as a YouTube? I don't know. We'll figure that out. I figured, here's the thing. I have a Discord. I never even signed up for fucking Instagram until like a month and a half ago. I was like, no, I have no interest in that shit. And then people are like, you should use it for your guitar business. So I did, and I set it up. I learned hashtags, and now I'm getting like, like 1,000 views from fucking like my posts, which is great because I'm hoping to sell my guitars and I'd like to get it out there. But it's strictly business, right? It's like only trying to sell guitars. I don't have the same interactive one-on-one like I do here. And the same with Discord. Like, I tried it and it just was too confusing. There's too many chat rooms and too much different shit. And the thing is, getting people to follow you to other platforms is impossible. I have an Odyssey page with a few videos, hardly any views, of course, because who the fuck wants to go to Odyssey or some other weird site, People who are on YouTube want to use YouTube. So I've dedicated myself, like, saying I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to endure and weather the storm of the YouTube purge, if you will. And I made it through. I had my channel deleted a couple times and managed to get it back. And I was like, well, I may not be able to talk about every topic I want here, but that doesn't mean I should shut myself down totally, because I'm getting a lot more more people know I'm here than anywhere else. So it's weird. If I started on Discord, I'd have to post a link and it probably wouldn't get the same amount of peeps. And I love being able to like read through the comments and at least keep up with you all. Because I pretty much can. Discord chat. Okay, so I know how to work hard. Okay, Wayward says, I know how to work hard on mental and physical and mental health, but without money, how do I work hard on projects or goals outside of health? Well, without money, it depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you, like when I started building guitars, I mean, I don't really have a lot of extra, but I had enough to invest in a couple things. It's not really about the money. It's about the truth is, we all know this. You could go down and buy some paint, some plywood for $50 and paint murals and sell those, as art if you're an artist. Or you could buy a new set of strings for your guitar and go play music on the corner and make money as a musician if that's what you do. But not knowing you and your particular situation, I have no idea. But I think deep down inside us, we have to force ourselves. Sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable stepping outside what we think is normal, I guess. Stepping outside of our comfort zone, if you will. And yeah, like Amy says, you can't really do much without money, but it doesn't mean that you can't find a way to make it. There's always a way to make money. But if you're a writer, write, and the money will come. I don't make shit off of many of the things that I have a passion for. That's the thing. I have to take a normal job now. I just started building tiny homes for this guy because it was something I wanted to do, but also because I needed the extra income. I need to do something that I love, not just something to make money. I was making more money selling kratom, but honestly, I just didn't want to be just a merchant. I want to do carpentry because I'm a carpenter, and so I get torn between money and just doing what I love to do. I'm the kind of guy who doesn't work extra just because I have spare time. I try to make more so I can have more spare time to do the things I want. And I want to do things on my own accord. Like I work 4 days a week and then I came home on Friday and built guitars all day and Saturday and then had to go today to a birthday and all that stuff. But like staying busy makes me feel good, but it is hard without money. If you have nothing to invest, it can be very distracting because we're constantly trying to stay ahead. And for the average person who's working a minimum wage job and trying to pay mortgage or rent, it's fucking impossible today. It's become very difficult. And it's fucking with our mental health. A lot of people can't do the things that they want to do. And that sucks. I don't know what to do about that. It's frustrating. It really is frustrating. Yeah. Yes, Chris. I agree. Having a neighborhood is, yeah. A small neighborhood is key. I mean, mine's pretty small too. I couldn't live in the city. Carpo, you're helping me to gently. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's really my only intention here. It's weird because I don't want to be that guy who pretends I know what the fuck's going on in the world, okay? I I feel like 90% of the people out there who are telling you how to live your life are completely full of shit and arrogant as fuck and they don't know anything they're talking about. And then the guys who really do know some shit, they're afraid to talk about it because they don't want to be an arrogant prick. That's where I feel like I'm at. Like I have some lessons to teach. I have some skills to dealing with life that I've developed in my own mind. A lot of it I'll give credit to like Manly P. Hall and Alan Watts and a lot of the Buddhist teachings, especially Zen, which Zen Buddhism in a sense by its own kind of definition doesn't exist. It's hard to explain. If you don't know what I mean, it's like Zen is the art of kind of like wu wei. It's like not doing. It's like it's making a joke out of everything. Like a Zen master, when you ask him, like you ask a priest, what should I do about this? And he'll tell you, oh, pray to God or do 50 holy Hail Marys, whatever the fuck it is. You ask a Zen master, what should I do? And he'll say, what should you do? The question is thrown back at you because you know better. You as an individual know what the fuck you need in your life. And this is something so hard to teach to people. It's something that I've learned to trust in myself. Like I have faith that in the future things are just going to fall into place. I just always have. makes me kind of almost lazy at times. But I don't mean fall into place like I'm just going to get rich. I just mean things will unfold the way they unfold. And I think letting go of control, your desire to control your life, sometimes can be the most freeing thing. To just see what happens. Let things flow. Just open yourself up to possibilities. That means you have to let go of your biases and shit like that temporarily. Like if you're, maybe you see somebody who offers you a job, but they look like some dumb liberal or some asshole conservative. Like you're basing like your opportunities you're losing, basing not you but anyone, based on our preconceived notions about what's right and wrong, and what's important and what's not. And sometimes when we let our guard down, the craziest shit just falls in our lap. It's fucking awesome. I mean, it's amazing how quickly that happens. Like for me, I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I really want to get a job. Like, I've been building guitars, but I know I'm not gonna get rich on that. I mean, it'll take me probably 5 years to have a successful flowing company. I could probably do it in less, but I'm like, I really want to build a tiny house for myself. So as a carpenter, I'll go work for another person. I looked on Craigslist. The second job on the list was tiny house carpenter wanted. I even took a pay cut from what I usually make, a significant pay cut from my carpenter wage just to do that. And it's fucking blast. It was great. The boss is cool. The coworker's cool. Everybody, hard workers. Everybody knows what the fuck they're doing. And, like, it just kind of fell in my lap. Like, I feel like, look, I'm not a super spiritual guy in that sense, but really, I may not believe in the law of attraction fully, but I really do believe if your intentions will manifest much in your future. Not necessarily because you just wish for it and you get it, but because you wish for it and therefore your subconscious makes you work harder for it because you expect to have that. So there's this underlying purpose you have to have, and then you work towards it, and you might not even realize you're doing it. So yeah, just got to push ourselves sometimes. It's fucking hard. I'm gonna read through the comments here for a sec. Chris says her friend can't continue treatment for brain tumor because she has taken care of her dad. Oh man, that's fucking tough, dude. And Chris, for those who don't know, Chris also, I believe, has brain cancer or has. And so being able to talk with people about situations that you yourself have endured or can relate to, I think is very key. That's why I may not be willing to talk to people about deep depression. I've had depression, but never like a full blown, like years long, where I'm just like in pits of despair. But I've definitely been on the couch for a few weeks and learned to work through those things. Anxiety, though, is something I've dealt with. Grinding my teeth, I had bruxism. I have hardly any teeth left. I grind at night. I have all crayons on the top. So, when I first started my YouTube channel, my teeth were kind of not that great. A few years in, when my teeth fell out. So if you go back to my 2000s, 12 to 15, I basically, or 12 to 16, I was missing this tooth, and it was just, tacky as fuck. And I had like a brown spot here. Like, so weird to look back on that shit. But I've been through a lot in all the different years, and I've learned that I can relate to people on certain things. If a person has tooth problems, I'm like, I get it. If a person has bad acne, I'm like, dude, I suffered the worst acne in high school. I had probably the worst acne. Like, there was only one dude in the school that had worse than me. And I was this tall, lanky, greasy-faced, big-nosed dude who everybody made fun of with a mullet. Can't win. So I owned it. I became my own self, my own person. Yeah, I owned that mullet. I owned those fucking skater clothes and MC Hammer pants. And I became a skater, heavy metal skater, and just did my own thing and met people who I could relate to. And then I dealt with some stress as I got older and learned how to talk about stress, how to deal with it. And in my 30s, it got so bad that I'd have butterflies in my stomach just thinking about shit. I was on probation at the time, and so my anxiety got so bad that I couldn't smoke weed, couldn't take benzos or do anything because I was on probation, taking drug tests. Every single morning I had to call and see if my color came up if I had to go take a piss test. And if it did, then I wouldn't be able to go to work. I'd have to like drink a bunch of water so I could go pee. Standing there while a dude's staring at my dick, because that's what they do. And it just sucked. It was horrible. And I was constantly stressed. And I thought, how do I deal with stress without drugs? And it all came down to mental, the true meaning of alchemy. And it was life changing for me. Like the time I spent learning about mental alchemy was really, it's silver lining shit. It's very simple. Your house burns down. You say, well, it's a new start, instead of, oh, my life's over. That's simple. Like those, that's a very simple version of it. It's finding the silver lining in things, acknowledging that shit's bad, but still being able to move past it. Then no matter what things get, it ain't shit. About the only thing that's harder to deal with is the death of a loved one or family member. That's a completely different scenario. That takes grieving, and you need to get past it too. Within a year, past that grief, and it will just be hanging on for the rest of your life. But I believe that there is a certain amount of time to grieve and then to move on. I feel like some people hang on to that grief because it makes them feel more protected. And what I mean by feeling protected, as I grab another half full beer, if we, let me just try to put this bluntly, if people have pity for us, then often we will use that pity as a weapon to say, oh, don't hurt me. I'm just sensitive. I'm having a hard time. I think that's when it's important to really get over our shit. When you've dealt with shit in your life, I watched my dad die in front of me when I was 15 from cancer. Put it away. Once you've seen that shit, death is kind of, it's nothing. So then you have friends and family and other people who lose loved ones, and they just grieve and they cry about it for months on end, and you're like, I care, but get over it. We all see this shit. This is life, and I don't think people prepare themselves for those things enough. I don't know. Let me see how many comments are on here. If I have to, I'm just gonna kind of flip through them real quick and see if there's any questions, because I don't want to miss anybody. If you got fucking questions, I'm well to answer them here. Homestead costs lots of money and property tax. Yeah, it's true, but it's not that much money. Property tax can't be shit. And yes, you say you got to have credit to buy land and a paper trail for the government. That's not necessarily true. It depends on what you've got. Buying land, you can buy land for a few grand and hang on to it, and then it will increase in value, and then maybe buy more land. But we own our home, or at least we're paying for our home. So this house we live in is actually equity for us. So if we sell this house, we can pay, which we still owe. After 17 years, we haven't paid hardly shit on the principal because of interest. But we probably still owe 100 grand on it. So I'm actually always in debt, but perpetual debt. But if we sold the house, we'd actually be ahead because we could pay the house, have some extra to buy the land and the house. The thing is yes, having equity is very key. But I think people are more afraid to just make the leap. Like, it's a whole new thing. You got to be able to work from home, stuff like that. Yeah, Carpo's Discord. I do have a Discord, but I don't use it very often. I don't think he had it. Confused. Wayward says, I straight up have no idea how to make money. Well, that is a tricky one. I can't answer that here. That will take me too much. You just, you got to take a chance. I guess you got to get a job, dude. There's lots of jobs out there, so that's one way to do it. Robin says, Carpo, do you have a Discord? Yes, I do, and it's Carpo719, just like this YouTube channel. I have all kinds of shit on there. I was doing live videos for a while, and once in a while I have several sections. I've got the herb section, psychedelics. So yeah, I do have a Discord, and I think the link is usually in the description of the videos. Sell insurance. several jobs in the last 7 years, but none of them paid well and none of them lasted. Well, I guess maybe that would be my personal to analyze why they didn't last. Was it your fault? Are you a shitty employee? Or did you have shitty bosses? Or did you just not like it? Because, there's many different reasons why we lose our jobs, and sometimes you gotta stick with some shitty stuff. Tombstone, I don't think I've seen you today. Good to see you, my friend. Carpo, there are mindful practices that you do, micro meditation, good deeds, etc. What makes a difference for you? I'm not sure what you mean. You'll have to redefine that question. If you mean what practices make a difference for me, I'll just put one out. Gratitude. Straight up fucking gratitude. I don't meditate much. Sitting quietly on a hillside with the breeze blowing and looking around and absorbing it all. Like, I don't meditate. I used to. I don't want to blank out and get away from anything. I want to be present all the time. So for me, I meditate when I sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not my thing. I like to sit on a hillside, take a deep breath, the breeze blowing, clouds, and just really take it all in. Just have gratitude for who I am and where I am and the fact that I'm alive and I don't have sciatic pain at the moment. I don't have a toothache. Like, even when I have been in pain, gratitude, not more in pain. If we continuously work towards gratitude, I think we're happier people. That's my opinion. Wayward said, I want to wake up and put my energy into something I do not care about for bogus pay. Sometimes you got to do it. Not always, but it's better to have bogus pay than something you don't like so you can work towards something you do like. That's my opinion. You got to do your own thing. If you don't have the motivation to start your own business or to really rough it, and even if you start your own business, when I became a carpenter, dude, I was a carpenter for a long time, but when I wanted to start my own business, dude, I had to take a huge fucking pay cut. Then I had to pay for my own taxes, my own insurance, my own bonding, take the testing and the license, take a class for the license. It was like a few grand. I had to go in the hole for it. You got to spend money to make money. It's just the way it is. And nobody gets a free lunch. It's just how it is, man. It sucks, but, maybe you'll get lucky. If you do figure out how to make money doing everything you love from the beginning, fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't figured that one out either. Breathing exercises. They work. They help. Texas Hold'em. Big hugs for the whole crew. Big hugs for you too, Tombstone. Connecting with God. Yeah, that's subjective for me as well. You just kind of let the shit happen, You let it roll. You see what happens. All right, I think I'm caught now. Not if you become a life coach. I'm not going to tell you I have an issue with life coaches, but, the whole idea to me is like, it's like coaching people for a sport that you've never played yourself. I guess that's kind of harsh, maybe. It's like trying to coach someone's life and really understand where they're coming from is so complicated. I feel like maybe if a person's only a coach for one or two other people, that's one thing. But if you literally have like a clientele, it's almost like psychology. Like, oh, tell me about your mother. Oh, we'll just do this and just push a little harder. And I know some people need that push, and others don't. Others just need to push themselves. I think we all know what we really need deep down inside. It's just that it's hard for us to get there. Well, I had no idea this would turn into a 2-hour live stream. I feel guilty now because it's Sunday night and I should probably go hang out with my family. We just got back from, as I mentioned before, my mother-in-law's 83rd birthday. And so when we got back, it was around 7-ish. And I said, I'm going to do a live cast, but I haven't done one forever. It's like, oh, you should. You haven't done one. It's like, yeah, it's just, I never know what it's about. And then I start it and I just end up rambling, And I just want to say I appreciate y'all for coming along and listening to my rambles. It actually, I'm trying to figure out what I get out of this more than just, because some people do a live stream because they get money, they get ad revenue, or they, have donations. For me, it's just talking for 2 hours to people I can't see. But um, I get a lot out of this. I do. That's why reading your comments is so important to me, and the ability to keep up with all of these comments. I think it's been great. I really appreciate you all, and the fact that it's been so intimate for so many years, and we can actually like really interact. That I can actually feel like I'm kind of learning who you are at the same time you're learning who I am. So, yeah, I just appreciate you all. I really do. And thanks. So, it's 1:55 minutes in, and I think I'll just hang out for one more minute, a couple more minutes in case anyone has a last minute question, and for everyone to say bye, because we're all family out here. Um, we're all family. As much as we might not want to admit it, may not want to agree with each other, we got to figure our shit out on our own. Hopefully, have people around us who want to support us in our endeavors of becoming better people. If you don't have anyone in your life that supports you and wants to hear you for who you are and your opinions and ideas, then look for someone else. I mean, if you can't find a friend or someone to lean on, someone that will actually listen to you. Sometimes when we grow up with a few friends, we don't realize how important they are. And so, if you have anyone in your life that's willing to listen, realize that some people don't have any of that. But also realize that to get people to listen, we have to have something worth listening to. And that means not complaining about our own shortcomings, not complaining about what we wish we had or how we could be richer or better off, but rather really embracing who we are and being grateful for it. I may not be a millionaire off of YouTube. Like I said, I don't want to be. It would be great to make extra income, but like I said, the reward itself is talking with people. It's We're in such a dog eat dog and profit, profit, profit society that it's impossible to navigate really what it means to be a better person, regardless of who you are. At any rate, it's been real. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate you all. I would like to stick around longer, but I appreciate everyone who came along to visit. I figure 2 hours is long enough for a live cast. I should probably go make some dinner. I'm not really hungry, but yeah. Peace out. I'll talk to y'all next time. Much love. And be sure to check out the podcast, 15-minute free thinking, if you don't watch that or listen to that. And my complaints, which I haven't really used much. It was supposed to be just a place where I could bitch about things because I didn't want to do that on my main channel. I really do believe in positivity because we got enough negative bullshit out there already. So, blessings to you all and be well. I'll see you next time. Goodbye now.